gaining, shifting of weight to make yourself advance, but hopefully in a safe way. So the clearer you are about the principles, the safer you can be for anything. But if you're here just to gain a new form, then perhaps you may want to rethink that. It's only temporary, okay? And probably only good when you do the actual Tai Chi Yang 16, okay? All right, so we're gonna move back, we're gonna come forward, we're gonna go from the clock, and we're in good Tai Chi posture, and we're closing a little bit, okay? Making that spine really straight. We're at 50-50. We're gonna shift our weight to the right, 60, 70, 80, 90, off the ground, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, hands rotate. Take a deep breath in as we elevate both hands. Shoulder level, drop the shoulders, flex the knees, let gravity take care of you. Left hand on the bottom, 2 inches below your navel, on a T stance, hold your ball nicely. Root it down on the right where your energy is. We're gonna move that energy by stepping out on an L stance. Turn the hips and waist, move the energy, split the energy. Bow stance, part the wild horse's mane, 1. Sit back, sit down to alleviate the weight of the front foot so that you can move it out. Ball for better balance, heel out, move the energy from an L stance to a bow stance. You're in a great optimal position. You're gonna take a half step, and half step requires balance, so you're gonna have to center yourself with the ball. You're gonna shift your weight from the front foot to the back foot. Do it now. At the same time, you're gonna spin the ball. What the bottom does, the top does. You're on the toe of the front, lift it off the ground, set it on its toe, and you're set for white crane spreading his wings, where the right hand is sitting to the way out to the hips, the top left hand, the baby finger bisects the edge of your opposite shoulder, your right shoulder. You're gonna drop your front foot to provide more weight on the back. You're gonna bring the top hand in so that it's almost like a 12 o'clock, where the elbow is straight down. Then you're gonna bisect, drop it down to the danten. Lift up the front foot, look at the back, and set it up, and lift off to the ground to your heel as you turn your hips and waist to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, as if you're walking in that direction, set it up correctly, multitask to provide your magic. Brush knee 2. Sit back, sit down, as if you're gonna do another brush knee, but you're gonna fist your right hand. Then you're gonna fist that comes up, the other one comes down, yin and yang. Spin out with your heel to deflect. Bring it into parry. Step out on a bow, a L stance to punch. You're gonna strip the guy away, open that fist, roll back and sit down. Turn the palms out to spiral forward. Okay, from here now, I'm gonna take you along a little bit more, but I want you to listen carefully so you can do what I want you to do. You're in a bow stance. Forget about your hands for now, okay? You're in a bow stance. I want you to turn towards the field and give me the same bow stance, okay? Do it now. Left foot forward, right foot 45, and you were pushing out. All right? What we're going to do is something very different. We're going to slightly sit back, but pivot our back or right foot. Then pivot our front foot. Shift our weight, make a hook, and tee, and come out as a single whip. Wow. Okay, so go back to your regular position. So we said that our premise is, how do we get to movements? Or we can get to movements in a better way if we employ or implement our principles. So we were here, and we want to pivot our back foot. We're in a good optimal position, safe right now. We want to alleviate some weight of our back foot so we can pivot, shift our weight, and come up and come out and do a single whip. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to come out in this way. We want to be able to pivot the back foot. Top and bottom of my body matches. Pivot on the neck, on the front foot. Shift my weight. Come out on a L stance and then a bow stance. Wow. So yes, it may look easy, but the pivoting of the heel of the foot to get into a single whip is kind of tricky. So I can't really tell you how much weight to put on that foot that pivots. Okay, maybe I'm just talking about words, using words right now. But I cannot tell you how much to alleviate to first pivot, then pivot, shift the weight, come out, and do this. So we're actually going to try it, and then we're going to kind of refine it. We're not going to put our magic to use right now. We're just going to have to creep up to it, okay? There's no magic right now. We're going to have to understand what to do. Then you have to feel how it's done, and then that feeling can be then tweaked, okay? So the principle is, let's see if I can do it. I still have to do it this way. Okay. So we're like this, actually like this. Probably what they sometimes refer to this as a 60 and a 40. I try to really teach it as a 50-50 because I don't want you to come forward, okay? So you're actually horizontal, your vertical dantian points are straight. So you're not favoring, okay? You're like this. What you want to do is you want to alleviate some of the weight here because only the weightless foot can move. But it's not really that easy because you have to pivot on the ball of your foot. The ball of your foot. Shift your weight, counterbalance, come out, and do this. Okay, one more angle, and then we're going to do it. Okay, so we're like this. We want to pivot on our back foot first, top and bottom match. Top and bottom match, that's the second pivot. Shift our weight to a T, come out, L, single whip. Okay, and the hands here are, single whip hands, but they're also counterbalancing hands, giving us stability to post down and yet not fall down, because this is helping our limbs, our hands and our arms are helping us to balance, okay? The harder part is to be able to lift off, to shift the weight to the heel to make it pivot. Okay, so we're gonna go slowly so you can kind of not watch, you're gonna watch, but you kind of figure out what your body can do and what it feels like it should do, okay? It can be a little bit awkward in the beginning, and it may stay with you as an awkward, but it's doable, okay? So we're left foot on a line, right foot on a 45 degree in the back. We push out. Optimal position. We're going to alleviate some of the weight of our back foot to put it on its heel to pivot out. At the same time we pivot, afterwards we pivot that front foot. We shift our weight, form our hook, come out, and push out. Okay, the pushing comes from the core now. It's not a hand motion. Okay, try it again. 2 hands push out. Bow stance. Alleviate the weight of the back foot to put it on its heel to turn. Turn the front. Shift the weight. L stance. Bow stance. Okay, one more time and then we'll change our position. You're in a bow stance, you're going to push out. Drop those shoulders, pivot on the back, pivot on the front, shift the weight, hook the back hand, T stance. Across the face, out, hands and feet follow each other, bow stance. Okay, we're going to come forward now, okay? Same thing. As I was doing my thing too, just like you, I found that if my bow stance is too wide, I'm not going to be able to pivot. So you don't want to come in short and just say, oh, it's easier this way. It is easier, but you're going to be too tight in to come out to do this. So you want to do something in between. You don't want to go out this way. You want to bring it in so that it's pretty comfortable. Then you're able to pivot, shift, okay? All right. So left foot on a line, right foot on the opposite line, drop the back, right foot back on a 45 degree, push out. Okay, you won't see me, but okay, we'll do it this way anyway. Okay, alleviate the weight of the back or right foot to allow it to pivot. Pivot the front, shift the weight, hook the hand of the back, T stance. Left hand turns out, left foot turns out. Okay, try it again. Push out. Make the adjustment if it's too wide a span for you. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, shift the weight, hook the hand, T stance. Turn the hips and waist, turn the left hand out, single whip. Okay, still rough, but still getting better, okay? Again, push out on a bow stance. Sit back slightly, pivot on the back foot, pivot on the front foot, shift the weight, hook the hand, T, out across the face, L, bow stance. Okay, gonna go back this way because I think you have better vision going to the left, okay? Left foot on the line, right foot drop back slightly, span not too wide on a 45 degree. Push out. Pivot the back. Pivot the front. Hook and shift your weight. Left hand closer to the face. Left hand sweeps across the face. Left foot comes out and pushes forward. Single whip. Okay? I'm going to look at you, just peek at you. Okay, pretty good. Nice single whip. All right. Now keep your feet positions and push out. We're going to do it again. Pivot on the back. Move that hand. Pivot on the front. Move that hand. Hook. Shift weight to the left, to the right. Left foot is insubstantial. Steps out on an L and then a bow. Okay, so what's happening is that you train your body really well in 10 form. You know what a T stance is, you know what an L stance is, and you know what a bow stance is. But somewhere, something's getting lost because now you have to take into consideration your upper body. But just remember, the firmer you are with your feet positions, that's going to be great. All you have to do is tell yourself, they are not separate entities, your top and your bottom, but they're all folded together. So if you were in another or I gave you a chance to just free fly it, or what do you call it, impromptu do it, and you just have to put it together to get you're by yourselves, you will find that, yes, the body wants to do whatever the foot has been trained to do. Okay, but right now I'm giving you specifics. Okay, so maybe you can think about that when you see what I do and say, yeah, now I can see it a little bit better because it's not really interfering with what you are doing physically. So what I try to teach you is single whip in the 16, which is harder than in the 24. I said that the forward foot is the left and the right is the back on a 45 degree. I also said that you don't want to be close because you'll never be able to turn correctly and safely. But you don't want to, at the same time, take the span. So remember when you were in 10 form, I said something about whenever you take an L stance, be careful. You don't want to come too far wide, and neither do you want to come too short. So that's the same thing, the same principle. So this is how I feel is maybe like a block and a half to 2 blocks span, probably more like 2 blocks, okay? A little short of 2 blocks. What I want to do is pivot the back foot, but I know that I have to pivot on my heel, and I know that my upper body will help me with balance. I can't just do this, and I can't do this, and then do this. That's ridiculous because I have an upper body that can help me, okay? And I have to use my whole body, and my mind drives my movement. I want to alleviate some of the weight of the back foot, and I want to pivot. I want to pivot again, and I want to shift my weight on a T across my face, turn the palm out, and come out as a single whip. And this kind of motion here where I'm suspended, but not suspended like this, really helps with my centering, really helps me. It's not just for show, but physically or as a viewer, it looks pretty, yeah? But it's there for balance and for beauty. Okay, watch one more time. So I want to make sure that I'm not too far in, I'm not too far wide, okay? And this is, I can test it, okay? And I'm like this, but I want to end up like this, okay? Same feet position, same alignment there, okay? But I want to get a little fancy. I want to first think through. I want to pivot that back foot, but on my heel. So I can't unless I think it through and alleviate some of the weight, soften the weight of that back foot. So when I pivot, my hand and upper body helps me. The front foot has to do it. When I shift my weight, I form my hook. I shift my weight to a T. The left hand comes across my face. I step out, my upper and lower body match as I do a single whip. So here again, the power of the mind, the power of the turning of the hips and waist. Not so much this, which is not only not smooth, but I'm thinking about where the different hands are going to go and where the shoulders should go. But what I'm doing differently is that I'm using my hips and I'm using the famous hips and waist and shifting of weight. It's so much smoother. I feel so much better about it because it seems to flow. The hips and waist turn me to get here. Okay, so what's your goal? Your goal is to try to match and understand and use your body the way that you just saw and understood. Okay, you want to be able to get the elements in. I'm not too worried about softening it right now, but try to get the elements in. Okay? All right, left foot on the line. Okay, it's hard being very hard being a teacher and a husband and a wife. Because, and I'm not gonna put this on a level, but I think you're laughing because you know, I have this journey going down here and then somebody tugs me and pulls me here, and I sort of know what he's gonna tell me, okay? Because usually, in the end, when I finally buckle under, he has a lot to say that makes sense. And it's just like you guys. He said that we would try to incorporate a little bit more softness and use our mental mindset and our whole body to make our movements happen for us, okay? So 2 feet on 2 different lines, opposite each other. Drag the right one back and kind of just go toddle back and forth to say, am I too close or am I just right, okay? And we have our energy pushed out. We want to pivot on our back foot, and after that, pivot on our front foot. So here we go. You're gonna slightly sit back. You're gonna pivot on the heel of the back foot, pivot on the front foot, shift the weight to the back foot, form a T, form a hook, come out on an L, push out, single whip. Here we go, push out, drop those shoulders. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, shift, across the face, out, L, single whip. Ooh, going faster. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, shift the weight, across the face, use your hips, single whip. Okay, slowing it down. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, shift the weight, T, spin out, L, push forward. One more time, same tempo. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, shift the weight, T, across face, L, single whip. Keep it there. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, shift the weight, hook, T, across face, turn hips and waist, out, L, bow stance. One more time, push out, drop those shoulders, pivot on the back, pivot on the front, shift the weight, hook, T, across face, L, single whip. Okay, you're going to do it so that I can watch now, okay? One more time to practice. Okay, you might want to shake around, get energized, re-energize. Push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, shift the weight, hook, T, across face, turn the hips and waist, L, bow stance. Ooh, good one. Okay, do it for me. Push out. And you do it without words. Go. Good. Push out. Come on. Drill. Push out. Okay. And your own timing. Go ahead. Talk to yourself. Keep on doing it until I say stop. But think it through. Set your record. Do at least 6 for me. We're nearing the 6th set, okay? Keep on doing it. When you finish the 5 or 6 set, keep your single whip and to let me know that you're done. And I want to talk about it, okay? In your form, in that last form like Scott, keep it there. Keep it there like Iris. Give me that form in a single whip. All right? Everybody stable? Everybody knows this is a single whip? All right. Keep your hands there. Look down at your feet. And you fix up your feet if you think they're wrong. Or leave it there if you think they're correct. All right. Keep it there. In this foot formation, you should be in an L stance. What's an L stance? Okay. So watch my feet. Remember we started like this? You should end up like this. You should end up like this. You should not end up like this. Okay, that's going to be too hard on your knees. You want to have an L stance because actually an L stance, and then this is called a bow stance. A bow stance. This is not any stance. It's a serious stance that needs to be corrected. It has to be out. You want to have a T. You want to come out to have a good bow. Okay? Now check your hand. The hand of the left hand should not go beyond, too much beyond your toes. It can come out slightly, but not extremely, because you're taking into consideration lining up your vertical danten points. If your vertical danten points are lined up and you find that maybe your vantage point of what you're seeing, the hand might be slightly ahead of your toe, that's fine, but as long as your danten points are strung up correctly. The back or hooked hand, okay, so you're going to drop the front hand, you're going to keep your hand like this, and all you're going to do is come down. Okay, and round out the fingers so that the thumb is surrounding the four fingers, but not tight like that, but drop and close. So where should it be? It shouldn't be in the front where you can see it. It shouldn't be on the side where you can see it. It shouldn't be directly across you, but slightly a little bit more. Okay? And it's not extended like that, and this is locking my chi or internal energy in, but the dropping of the elbow to make it soft. So give me single whip. Okay, so give me, straighten up, and give me soft single whip. Usually the back hand is slightly higher than the forward hand. Usually the back hand is slightly higher than the forward hand. Okay? All right, good. That requires some practice, okay? But the practice is good because you're teaching your body that you're using everything about it and still being safe. You're swiveling on your axle by turning your hips and waist, being in a favorable or optimal position because you're in a T and the energy is stored here. You're taking an L and you're turning your hips and waist across the face and mimicking what the bottom does with the top. Okay? So without many words or any words, this is what you were taught in 3 angles or 4 angles. Okay, ready to try 4 angles with me, okay? Let's start with this one. Push out. Pivot the back, pivot the front, turn the hips and waist, shift the weight, cross the hips and waist on a T, elbow. Okay, coming forward, push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, T-stance, across the face, turn the hips and waist out, single whip. Going towards the clock wall. Right foot drag back on a 45, push out. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook, shift weight T, out, turn the hips and waist, L stance, bow stance, okay? Going towards the road. Right foot on a 45, push out. Pivot, pivot, shift, hook, T, across, and single whip. Now drop your hands and look at your feet. And then you determine what's going on there, okay? All right, so turn around and look at me. In a bow stance, it's like this. The front foot is parallel or on the tile of the floor. The back foot, which is in this case the right foot, should be on a 45 degree, okay? As to the extent of the 45, it depends, because we're in motion all the time. We can say, drill it really hard and say, yes, this is a 45, this is a 45. You can put tape on it, you can put chalk and everything on it, but we don't have to be that rigid because we're in motion. And the body weight, as long as the Danten points are lined up, you're fine. So I asked you to look at your own feet for self-correction. If you were in class prior to, as an intro class, you know that I was a stickler in saying T stance, L stance, drag it back, make that gap, okay? And why? Just as a reminder, if we did not provide room but span, and we would clash or come too close to the heel of our planted foot, okay? I'll bring it in just so that it will clash. Oh, here, I'll just do it on that cross section and I'll come out. And this is, I say this is my L, which you know is wrong. So when I come out and I want to do a single whip, it's hard for me to turn and my knees already feel stressed. It's not this knee, it's this guy too. So how do we rectify it is that we have to be strict with ourselves and say, T, out and to the side. Out and to the side means here, so that I can swivel clearly here. Okay, just as a reminder. And we always need reminders, okay? So the best thing is for you to take this piece home and work on it and then say, stop, check my feet, okay? You be the detective, you be the investigator, and you teach yourself, because you already have taken in visually and mentally what is proper. Then you teach your body how to do that. You'll be happier when you have a better alignment. Okay, so we're gonna wind it up with a yang 16, okay, and then with Ken. But I do want you to remember that although I have been drilling very hard for a long amount of time on single whip and how you get into it, it is using the elements of all of what we've been talking about.